It's your turn. It's over to you.
Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you for having me here, Michelle. I really appreciate it. And now I just want to ask you a couple of questions. Who can understand where my accent is from? Can you give me a thumb up if you can guess where my accent is from? Or type it in the chat. Oh, Kathy, I know you. Oh, yeah, Christina knows. Oh, okay. Yeah, thumb up, thumb up. Oh, someone is okay. So now, can you give me a thumb down if you don't know where my accent is from? Nobody's giving me a thumb down. Everybody knows. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. So you'll guess. Can you do that if you can guess where my accent is from? Oh wow. Did they know? Did they know?
Of course.
Oh. Right. Okay. Oh wow. That's.
We kicked them off and said bring something Italian with them. So a lot of people might have something from Italy.
Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, so if you don't understand what I'm saying, you can ask me to repeat because it happens. I do usually. This is actually my first event online, and yeah, I love it already. But yeah, when I do live events, I ask people to ask if they don't understand. I'm happy to repeat. So now one thing I want to say is thank you for being here, and I really mean it. I know you're at home. And you maybe you got time to spare, but I know Michelle invited over 1,000 people. Okay, now over those 1,000 people, there's 32 that decided to show up today. Okay, so and I believe now the fact that you're here, it tells me that you're putting your health first, okay? So I personally truly believe there should be a lot more people on this call because I'm gonna share as much as I can about health. And but really, one of my mentors always says, the secret to success is to show up. So the fact that you're here means that to me that you are successful. So okay, I want you all to can you do this on your shoulder? Can you do this? Good job, and say, well done for being here. Good job, good job. Awesome, 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 awesome. Okay, so now, today I want to talk about three things. I want to talk about the nervous system, and I want to talk about something called subluxation. And then I'm going to explain what a subluxation is, and I'm going to talk about three big stress factors that can influence the function of your nervous system, and I'm going to give some tips on how you can decrease those stress factors. Okay, so now before I begin, is it okay if I tell you a little bit about myself? Yeah, can you nod if you're happy with that? Awesome, cool. Anybody do not agree with that? Okay, cool. Right. Okay. So now, well, my name is Philippe. I'm Italian, and I've been in Bournemouth for almost 10 years. My wife and I moved over because I came to study chiropractic, and when I was in my third year, we decided to have a kid. So I had my first kid, my first girl. She's 6 now. When I was in my third year of schooling. Then we had our second one on my 5th year, and then we had our third one 18 months ago. So I got 3 kids, and now my wife is waiting for the 4th one. You didn't know Michelle, did you? Yeah. So yeah, we'll find out the gender in a couple of weeks. So cool stuff. Anyway, when I finished school, I was talking to my wife, and I said, we really like you here, but I had a couple of places I was offered a job, and I said, what if we stay? And because if we go somewhere that we don't like, what do? We have to come back. So, or go somewhere else, keep moving, and moving a family is not, I don't believe it's very easy. So we decided to stay. I was a mobile chiropractor, so I used to go to people's homes. So the day I finished school, the very evening when I got the results, I opened my own business. So I went online and I registered my limited company. And the next day I started to go to people's home and work as a chiropractor. So I did that for about a year, and then I moved into the basement of a hairdresser, and I was there for about 2 years. And I was in this little room, no windows, no real light, not a very healthy environment. Some of you have been there and saw the place. And only a couple of months ago, we moved into these new premises, which is pretty cool. And so this is my journey. Now, the reason why I'm a chiropractor, that's another story. About 10 years ago, so before coming to UK, I had a pneumothorax. So who knows what a pneumothorax is? Hands up. Okay, someone is doing that. Okay, so a pneumothorax is one of your lungs collapse. So I had one of those. I was exercising, I felt short of breath. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was just, I don't know, fatigue from exercising. Went out with my friends in the evening, started to cough enough blood, taken to A&E, had an operation within 30 minutes, and I was in hospital for about 10 days. So when they released me from hospital, they said, this can happen again. And I said, oh, thank you. After 10 days in hospital, that was the good news. So guess what? 6 weeks later, the same symptom happened. And so I was freaking out, went to A&E. They did some scans and said, look, the lung is still okay, but there's a chance that it happens. So the only option is for you to have an operation. And I said, do I have to do it today? I said, no, there's no rush, but you know, we have to do the operation. Now, luckily at that time, I knew an alternative therapist. And this guy said, look, before you choose, come to see me. I had nothing to lose. I did. And I avoided an operation that would have made me partially disabled for life. The symptom never came back. It was 2007, been fine since. Now I thought, why didn't they tell me that there was an option? Anyway, the thought came, but then, you know, weeks passed, months passed, and I just forgot about it and just went on with life. And then my grandmother died of Stevens-Johnson syndrome. Now, who doesn't know what Stevens-Johnson is? Stevens-Johnson syndrome. Okay, so Stevens-Johnson is a syndrome caused by medication side effects. She started to take medication in her mid-40s, and by her late 60s, she was taking 1,000 pills a day. So when she died, I thought there must be a healthier, better, more natural way to help people get well and stay well without medication. So those two episodes in my life helped me realize that I wanted to help people, and that's what, you know, lead me to chiropractic, and that's why I'm a chiropractor. So what is chiropractic? Now, let me ask you this question. Who thinks that chiropractic has to do with aches and pains? Hands up. Yeah? Okay. So who thinks that chiropractic has to do with a lot more than that? That's just the surface. Okay. Oh, wow. Cool. A lot of people here. Okay. Who uses chiropractor regularly? Nice. A few of you. Oh, well done. Well done. The brain. Everybody's following me so far? Give me a thumb up if you're with me. Okay. Right. Now, I'm just going to stand up. So, now, the brain is the one organ in your body that controls everything. Okay? Controls every cell, every organ, every tissue in the body. That's physiology. Okay? Now, the brain is protected by the skull. Okay, you know, the big bone, is protecting the brain. But there's also something else that is protecting the brain, and it's this. Now, you've got the brain, but also you've got the spinal cord. The spinal cord is an extension of the brain. So, what happened? When the brain is supposed to communicate with everything in the body, but here's what, I'm going to talk about subluxation now. Now, when a bone in your spine is not moving well, is basically creating an interference in the nervous system. Now, a lot of people think about symptoms, but your body can cope up to 90% before it gives you symptoms. Okay, so think about someone that had a stroke or heart attack or cancer. You can be stage 3 cancer, no symptoms. The first symptom of a heart attack is a heart attack. But your blood vessel can take years before they block. Okay, so now the same thing is for everything else. So if you have a subluxation, you can be symptom free and can take a long time before your body tells you, because the body is very good at compensating. Okay, now again, let me tell you this. As I said, a subluxation is an interference in the system. Let's imagine this is your brain, and this is a nerve that from the brain goes to anywhere else in the body. Let's take the stomach. Now, if you had some food today, your brain receives messages from the stomach, and the brain tells the stomach what to do, just in a simple way. Now, what happened when you have a subluxation, okay, a bone that is not moving well on the spine, basically puts some pressure on the nerve. So now that communication can be 20%, 30%, 50% less effective. So that means that the brain has to work twice as hard, or 10 times as hard to get that communication going. Now, you might develop symptoms or you might not. But the idea of chiropractic is to release the interference so that the communication can be restored and the body can function again. Okay? Now, am I making sense? This is simple physiology. Okay? Right. It's someone not with me. Everybody seems okay. Everybody on board? Okay. Now, let me tell you this. A lot of people, when they come to me, they ask me, what are, why does the spine create subluxation? Why does the spine goes out of alignment? And a lot of people think is because of traumas they had in their lives. So, and that's one reason. That's only one reason why your spine can go out of alignment. You can have an accident, fall, you can see too much, or you can exercise too much, or you can have wrong exercise, and that's what can cause subluxation to happen in your spine. But there are other 2 important things that can cause a subluxation happening in your spine. Now, one is nutrition, and the other one is emotional. So there's physical stress, emotional stress, and nutritional stress. Okay, those 3 stresses can cause your spine to go into locking mode and create interference in your nervous system. Okay, so now how does it work? Why what I eat creates problem with my back? Okay, so now I got this chart here with me. Okay, usually this is in my office. Can you all see this okay? Yeah, okay. Now, here's the simple thing. When you eat something, okay, like we got the stomach here, as I said before, there are messages going to the brain. Now, if you eat something that is not good, okay, what happens is that is gonna create some hormonal changes, okay? So let's say you eat sugar. I'm going to talk about that in a second. What happens is that it's going to create an hormonal cascade that creates inflammation. And guess what? Here is where things go locking. Okay? Now, also, people ask me, why stress causes subluxation in the body? And I said, well, here's the thing. Stress is not just something that is up there and nobody knows what it is. Now, we know that stress is a hormone, okay? Now, again, when the body creates stress, when your brain creates stress, what happens is that the spine suffers and creates subluxation, okay? So again, interference in the nervous system. Are you with me so far? Yeah? Okay. So now, before I move on, any questions? Are we okay to answer some question, Michelle? Or do you want to wait?
Can do. If we open it all up, it gets a bit crowded and a bit busy on the screen. So it's probably easier if they ask questions in the chat room, and then we'll come back to you if that's all right, Filippo. If you want to carry on.
Later.
Yeah, questions will be later. Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay. So, right. I'm going to give you tips. Okay. I'm going to give you some tips on nutrition, on your emotional state and physical state, things that you can actually do and implement right away. So as soon as we finish, to avoid stress in your nervous system. Is that okay? Yeah. Can you give me a thumb? Can you give me all a thumb up? Nice. I like that. Okay. Right. So now, first thing, when someone comes to me, they expect me to give them exercise. Now, exercise is the last thing I talk about. There are other things that are a lot more important than exercising, okay? And that's lifestyle. And the first thing I talk about is nutrition, okay? Now, let me tell you why. And I'm just going to open a bracket here. And I'm going to talk about comfort food, whether it's junk, sugar, tea, coffee, okay? All that stuff creates one hormone that is called dopamine, okay? Everybody okay with dopamine? Yeah? Okay. Now, have you heard of serotonin? Okay. Do you know the difference between the two? Okay. Nicole, you do. Well done. Okay. So I'm going to explain what the difference is. Now, dopamine is the pleasure hormone. Okay. So it's the hormone that gets released when you have an ice cream, when you have pizza, when you buy your new phone, when you buy your new shoes, when you go shopping. So whenever there's pleasure coming, dopamine is released. Okay? Now, serotonin, on the other end, is the happy hormone. Okay? It's the peaceful hormone. And that's a different story. Now, serotonin is something your body needs to heal. Okay? So, but here's the problem. When you have too much dopamine in your body, serotonin does not function as it should, because they use the same taxi, the same cup to go where they need to. So if the cup is filled with dopamine, there's no room for serotonin. Okay? Now, serotonin is also needed for good sleeping. Okay? So if you have too much dopamine, then you're not functioning well. And guess what? Sugar, comfort food, tea, coffee, that's all dopamine. Okay? So if you have too much of that, then serotonin is not working. And if you're not in a place where serotonin can be in abundance, then you're not in a good place for healing. You with me? Yeah? Nod your head? Awesome. Okay. So first thing, so what I always talk about with my clients is something called deflame diet. Okay. Now, there's quite a lot to talk about when it comes to nutrition, and what I'm happy to do, I usually give, there's a PDF that I give to all my clients. What I'm happy to do, if you want to, and if you're happy to, you can just get in touch with me if you want to send me an email, and I'm happy to send you the PDF with the nutrition information. Is that good, Michelle? Would that be a good idea to do?
Brilliant idea. Can you just give me your email address actually while we're speaking, just at that bit? It's Filippo.
Yes, what I can do is, so is f.vernetti@innatewellnessltd.com.
Oh.
But what I can do, if is even better, I can give you, I can put in the chat.
Thank you. That's what I was going to say. I'll put it in the chat. Yeah. If you could put it in the chat.
So that's my my website, okay, and you can send me a message there, and I'll be happy to do that there. Yeah, is that okay? Awesome. Now, the other thing is physical. Now, physical stress, especially now, I try to get in touch with my clients. You know, I'm not able to. I'm only working 1 day a week. Some of my clients are still not very comfortable at coming. So I do what I can. I try to get in touch. I do videos on YouTube, Facebook to help them stay active. But the thing is, a lot of people lost their healthy routine. Okay, you know, if they went to the gym, they're not doing that as much anymore, and you know, everything is out the window. So the key is to have at least 30 minutes of exercise a day. Now, everybody, but what's the best exercise to do? Now, here's the key. When you exercise, you want to do high intensity training. Have you heard of that? Yeah? High intensity training. So, do you know why that is the best? Nicole knows everything here. Awesome. Oh, you're switched on. Okay, anybody else? Okay. She's good, eh? Right. Okay, so here's the thing. Now, high intensity training means that, you know, your heart is pumping fast, okay, all the time. Why is that so good? It's so good for the same reason I talked about. Now, the thing is, you want more serotonin, and the more high intensity training you do, the more serotonin your body produces, and the more healing your body is capable of providing to your body. Okay, so now you can, one thing that I suggested and I put on my Facebook page is actually, and you can get there, is free. There's a 6-week free. Have you heard of that guy, what's his name? Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, someone is nodding. Someone is smiling. Good looking guy. Yeah, Chris Hemsworth. Michelle, do you know who he is? He's the actor that did Thor. You know Thor from the Marvel, the superhero? Nicole is smiling now, yeah? Yes. So now that guy has got an app that you can download on your phone or tablet. It's free for 6 weeks, and basically he's got a team of 6 or 7 personal trainer, and they can teach you whatever exercise you want to do. Okay, whether you want to do gentle, you can start like basic, intermediate, and go advanced. But it's very good, and there's a lot of high intensity training that you can do at home. Okay, and they did it it's free for 6 weeks. Yeah, that's the one. That's the man. So he did it. He gave it away for 6 weeks for free because of coronavirus, and I think it's a great way to stay healthy and move your body, okay, as much as you can. So you need that, everybody. Okay, so that's one thing I would suggest about physical. Okay, now I'm going to move into the emotional stress. Now, emotional stress. We all have emotional stress, if we, do you know what the fight and flight response is? Yeah. Okay. So basically, long time ago, there was a threat, we run away or we fight. So the body goes in stress mode, and that's good. That's what the body's supposed to do. Now, what happens is that when you're in stress mode, the blood goes to your limbs. The oxygen goes to the limbs, a lot more sugar is released because the muscle need the sugar, a lot more fat is released into the blood because you need more sugar, the blood pressure goes up, your heart rate goes up, your focus goes down. You don't need to focus on, on reading a paper or whatever. You just need to, be alert of everything that goes on around you. Now, here's the thing. If you are in a stress mode when you're sitting down because you're doing a task at a computer or working, or I don't know, something that happened with your brother, sister, your kid, your other half, guess what? The stress response happens anyway. So the blood pressure goes up, heart rate goes up, more sugar in your blood, more fat in your blood, and that means disease. Okay? Now, so how can you keep your mind in a calm state? So now I've been talking to a lot of people, and there's a lot of research behind, and there's have you heard of Bruce Lipton? He's a very good one on this, or Joe Dispenza. So you can check them out. And they talk a lot about gratitude. So now here's the thing. I do myself. I got it here with me. Now this is a gratitude journal. Okay. So now every night when I go to bed, I write about 20 things I'm grateful for. Okay. Now, why gratitude? Why writing it down? And why every day? Okay, here's the thing. When you start to be grateful, consciously, what happens is that you train your mind to become subconsciously able to look for positive things in your life. So the more grateful you are, the more your brain is looking for positive stuff. Okay, especially now. Okay. Now I was talking to a colleague, and he said, if you go online every hour, they tell you how many people is dying. They give you numbers. It's crazy. Why do you need to know every hour? That's negative stuff. Okay. So we need to protect ourselves from the environment. We need to create a positive environment. Okay. So if you're freaking out, if you're getting anxious, grab a pen and look for 20 things you're grateful for, and you write it down. Now the looking for and the writing down is gonna bring that happy hormone we were talking about before. So it's gonna increase serotonin production in your body. Okay? And again, you're in a better place for healing. You become more peaceful and more calm. Okay? Now that's the top key. Now when clients come in, one of the homework is to have a gratitude journal. Okay, I don't know if I did it. If I've done it, I think I've done it with you, Michelle. Something I've learned not long ago. I have not. Okay, so I've learned it. Like I would say, I've been doing this for the past since before Christmas. So yeah, my new clients, they have a gratitude journal now, and those are key things. Okay, to make sure that you stay mentally safe and you can thrive in this time of crisis. Okay. I think I've covered quite a few things. Yeah? Right. Questions? How do we do this? Hello?
Did you feel all alone then? Hello, is anyone out there? Okay, so did you want to look at the questions? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, let's go for the question.
Okay, so I've just unmuted Christina as well, because she's been keeping a tally on the questions. So Christina, is there anything you've seen in there?
Well, a question from me is where you put nutrition in those key things. You talked about physical and emotional, but nutrition is sort of up there as number one, really, ideally, isn't it?
I would say nutrition is one of the biggest one. The other biggest one is that I would put together with nutrition is sleep. Okay, I read a book lately. It's called Why We Sleep, and I think sleep is even a priority above nutrition. Okay, now I'll tell you why. If we sleep less than 8 hours per night, basically we become sleep deprived. Now, if you become sleep deprived, your body just is like giving sugar to your body. You slowly get sick. Okay. Now you can start gaining weight if you sleep less than 8 hours a night. You can start like all sorts of disease, heart disease, diabetes, attention disorder. There's all sorts of stuff, and it's like, wow. And again, serotonin is not produced enough if you have less than 8 hours sleep. So now the next question would be, well, you let us hanging. What can we do if we don't sleep well? Now, three things. If you're not sleeping well, first of all, how do you know if I'm not sleeping well, if I don't have a good quality sleep? Now, if you wake up in the morning and halfway through the morning you feel like you want to go back to sleep, or you need like an energy drink to keep going, it means you're sleep deprived. So three simple things. One is no food at least 3 to 4 hours before going to bed, because if your body is digesting, it's not able to produce serotonin, because 98% of serotonin is produced in your gut. So if you have a bad diet and if you eat before going to bed, no good. You're digesting, you're not producing what your body needs to produce for the night. So you're not healing properly. So 3-4 hours before going to bed, no food. Okay, number one. Number two, the room has to be pitch dark. The darkest the room, the better. Okay. When I went to the seminar, this guy talked about sleep, and he said whenever he travels the world, okay, and he brings black tape with him because he sleeps in hotel, and where there are like flashing lights, it covers them all over. So it has to be pitch black. Because if there's a little bit of light, even if you're not conscious about it, and it's fine, it doesn't bother me, it does bother your sleep. Okay, so pitch black, you get a good quality of sleep. Now, the third thing, and I guess this is the most difficult for everybody, especially in our age, is screens. We should turn off our screens, whether it's phone, computer, laptop, even lights. Okay, dim the lights at least 2 hours before going to bed. If we can do it when the sun goes down, well, now it's a bit tricky because the sun goes down like at 12 at night, so that's not good. So, but in winter, or like 2 hours before going to bed, no screens, and that will help you to have a better night, quality night. Sorry, I went overboard there, but I hope I answered your question, Christina.
No, that's very good advice. Thank you very much. Gail has asked, Abigail, she's got down here, she's asked whether or not she could have a copy of the chart that you put up earlier. Should we email you for that, or can you provide that for us?
Yes. So yeah, if you do this, all those that want the nutrition plan, I will send everything. You just send me an email and say, hey, this list of lady wants this. I just send everything over.
Okay. And as Michelle said, we're going to put the whole recording in the new virtual group, our Facebook virtual group, so people can look at this again, because there's a lot of stuff in there if they haven't taken notes. Just going to check now and see. Somebody has asked, Leanne has asked, this 30 minutes of exercise, high intensity, can it be a mixture of high intensity and yoga / walking? Well, walking gets the heart rate up, doesn't it?
It's better. I mean, so the idea is that when you finish your exercise, you're almost exhausted. That's ideal. Okay.
Oh, right.
If you can do that, that's great. If not, it takes time to get out. I mean, 30 minutes is a long time. Okay, and it takes time. But if that's too much, start with 5 minutes. Start like with 1 minute. You can just run on the spot for a minute, and that will increase your serotonin in the body. Like a minute, just stand like that. You do that for a minute, and then you just bring your level of serotonin up. That will help. It takes time to build up to half an hour, but hey, you got to start somewhere.
Thank you. Usha asks, how long and how often should we have a chiropractic session?
That's a good question. How long is a piece of string? So I I personally believe, now, if you follow what I was talking about, is that your spine goes into subluxation unless you're a monk and live in a mountain. There's no stress. Okay. Now, our lifestyle, it's very stressful. Okay. I personally get adjusted at least every other week. Okay. Now, I've got some clients that come weekly. They have no symptoms. I'm talking about people that has no symptom, okay? That are maintenance. I got some maintenance or wellness care that comes once a week because they want to. They want to, you know, they have so much stress going on, and you know, they feel they function well. I got other clients that come once a month. Michelle, you're coming once a month.
Yeah.
And I think Kathy, is it once a month or every other week? So, and it's good for them. I think once someone has reached a certain level of health, you know, they need to decide, you know, is it good once a week? Is it good once a month? It depends how stressful you are and what your body tells you. Okay. And, you know, there are different questions that, you know, I ask to my clients, and we look at symptoms, but we also look at function. And, but, you know, personally, I think that if you go more than once a month, it's too long. It's like you do exercise, it's like exercising, or it's like, you know, a diet. You know, once you get to, you know, once you get your six-pack back, what do you want? Do you want to stop it and go back to your couch? Or
good maintenance.
Yeah, so it really depends. And my philosophy is that, you know, at least once a month is ideal for maintenance. And then, you know, if someone comes at the beginning, it's a different story. So I got clients coming 3 times a week or once a week, depends. I had clients coming every day of the week.
Everyone is different, I guess.
Yeah.
Kathy also asked, is there anything physically that those of us who regularly see a chiropractor but can't at the moment can do, other than those things that you've mentioned already? Can they do at home?
Yes. So I've there's a video I put up a few days ago about 9. You need to have a healthy routine. Okay. So there are things that I do every day that you must do. Okay, so get up in the morning. I'm a Christian. I pray and I read scriptures. So, but that's not for everybody. For some people, it's meditation. But you need some quiet time. Now, important. The key number 1: you don't turn these on until at least 1 hour after you wake up. Okay. Shall I go in the reason why? Do you want the reason why? Michelle, do we have time? Do you want me to explain why? People is nodding. Yeah, do we have time, Michelle?
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Okay, so right now the reason why you don't want to turn the phone on is that because here's what happened. You turn the phone on and the phone goes ping, 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 and then what happened? You go and check the phone. You go and check the phone. Why? Because you're waiting for something to happen. Okay. Now, there's a good book. It's called The Hacking of the American Mind. We'll explain this much better, but in more details. But here's the thing: if you are getting distracted when you get up in the morning, first thing, you get distracted. Might be good news, bad news, I don't know. It doesn't matter. But you start getting distracted. Guess what? You're wiring your brain for distraction for the rest of the day. Okay, so that's number 1. Okay, so you don't want to turn your phone on. Usually it's 2 hours before I turn it on. Okay, and weekends I do at least one day. At Sunday, phone's off. Okay, I don't turn the phone on because I need to connect. I need to be with myself. And so quiet time as soon as you get up in the morning. I do intermittent fasting. Okay, so I do eat at 12, so I have lunch, and then I eat in the evening. But then for 16 hours, I have no food. Again, more energy, your body can repair. If you're always eating, there's a lot of digesting going on. That's where the energy goes. There's no energy for your body to heal repair. Now, another thing, I go out. We're in Italy, people cannot go out. Okay, they cannot. They get fined. They cannot go out of their door. So people is locked in their apartment. That's crazy. I would go nuts. So I go out and I spend at least 1 or 2 hours outside, whether it's walking with the buggy with my little one or go out with my family, but fresh air. Now, there used to be something called fresh air therapy, okay? Now, again, going back to the Spanish fever, when it hits the United States in Boston, the hospital were filled up and people could not stay in hospital. They had outdoor hospitals, and the healing, the ratio between the indoor and outdoor was 40%. If you were in an outdoor hospital getting fresh air and vitamin D, you were 40% more likely to survive. Fresh air and vitamin D, yes, that was a therapy. Why don't they do it anymore? I don't know. Anyway, fresh air. So, and then diet, you'll read the paper I will send you over. Very key, your exercise, you have to do it, and then make sure you do your gratitude at night. Stay connected. Something I learned from Michelle. I called her. I think it was like a few days after I closed. I called Michelle. I was calling, all my clients. I wanted to, get in touch, stay connected. And Michelle said, "Oh, I made a goal. I want to call 3 people every day." I said, "That's such a good idea." So, this is the time where you have time to call people, and connect with them. I think it's great. It's a great way to, just don't close in, just open up and, reach out, ask, how's it doing? How you doing? What can I do for you? That's me. And then gratitude at night. Turn the phone off a few hours before going to bed. Get a book instead of a screen. Play a board game if you have someone else to play with, or make another phone call. But this is what my routine is. But hey, I get off routine all the time, okay? So if you fall, don't worry. I like a quote from a guy called Bob Proctor. There's a good book. It's called The Art of Living. He's an awesome guy. And he says, failure is not the falling down, is the staying down, okay? So, I fell off routine all the time. But hey, that doesn't matter. There's always tomorrow. Okay, you can always get better. You don't change the diet in a day. You don't get good at sleeping overnight. It just takes time.
Philippe, what was the name of the book again, please?
Which one?
That you just mentioned by Bob Proctor.
The Heart of Living.
The Heart of Living.
The Heart of Living. Yeah.
Living.
Living. Yeah.
Is it art or heart?
Art.
Okay, so Filippo, thank you so much. I don't think there's a woman on here that hasn't enjoyed that, hasn't learned something, and can't be more grateful right now. So you'll be on everybody's top 20 of being grateful will be Filippo and all the things you've said. From a personal point of view, it's really changed my life coming to see you, because I've had a bad back since I did a parachute jump, really crazy, at the age of 18. So actually what you've done is taken a lot of the stress out of the spine. You've certainly straightened my back, and I am desperate to see you Thursday, which I've booked in, just to get that alignment, because the things that I've made a note here, and I think I probably speak for most people, but fresh air, 100% we need fresh air. And for those that are lucky to have our gardens, or go for a dog walk, then that's top of the list. Vitamin D, you said to me, vitamin D, I take that every day. Garlic, take that every day. But this week in particular, the 3 major things you said, stress, physical and emotional. God, I'm struggling with this lockdown. I'm sure all of you, I can't see the screen with everybody. In fact, I'll change the screen to see everybody. It's a big deal. It's, put your thumbs up if you're struggling, because I certainly am. Just being locked away, really, and not seeing people it's made me realise how much that is the most important thing in our life, is the connections with others, the hugs, the compliments, the just being near people. And I love my family, love my husband to death, but just being restricted is making me very emotional, stressed, irritated, And this Zoom has changed everything in the respect that it gives us something to do. It gives us a purpose. But, you know, Easter eggs, oh, God, so much sugar. I can't stop eating. But I'm so glad, I'm so glad you said that you gain weight when you don't sleep enough, because now I know the answer. It's nothing to do with chocolate, nothing to do with alcohol, nothing to do with food. It's all to do with Easter eggs. No, all to do with not sleeping. Gosh, should read my notes a bit better. Anyway, Philippe.
Too many Easter eggs, too much chocolate can cause you to not sleep either.
I know, we're just like, but yeah. Filippo, from the bottom of my heart, I know you personally, Kathy knows you personally, and there's probably some other people on this call that come and see you as well regularly. But please connect with Filippo. What you see here is a very genuine message, and that's what he gives you when you go and see him personally. So connect with him via, in fact, can I ask you a big favour, Filippo? In the chat room, can you just pop your email address in, just in case people lose you trying to find, because just so you know, this chat room disappears as soon as we switch this off. So it's really important for you.
If you click on that on the website, it takes you to the email address straight away.
But some people are not that technical, so if you could just pop in your email address as well, that would be really good. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, should we just give a big round of applause first of all for Filippo? Sorry, everybody is on muted, but you can see them moving. We'll make up for it. Thank you. That was absolutely brilliant. And that's what this is all about. This is exactly what these Zooms are about, is to connect with people like you.